That one's going to hurt. A Black Knight MPU, and I am using Leon's test ROM at IC17 to diagnose what's wrong with this board. Now, if I put the regular game ROMs in, it does not work correctly. So I'm going to test these 6821's PIAs. That's interesting. I don't know. I do that all the time. I was on the wrong side of the chip. I am not dyslexic. I'm going to develop a device that's going to make this a lot easier. Let's see, 2019, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Pin 9 not pulsing. I think pin 9 not pulsing on this particular 6821 is normal, but I'll look that up. But pin 4 not pulsing down here, that is a problem. So let me show you the rest of this test. I'm going to press the lower button, and that tests this RAM, then the 5101, and then this RAM. Whoops, the lower button, dingbat. Okay, so that indicates that RAM 1 that it tested, this one, is bad. So let's check that out. Well, I pointed to the wrong RAM. That one is clearly bad. All right, back with this board. And once again, I have to thank Williams for failing to put basic information on the silk screen, so I always have to go through and number these chips with my Sharpie. Originally I thought this RAM had failed, and one of them had failed, but then I went back to do the test and it didn't change anything. It still said failure code 1. So then I thought it was this 7408. It did not turn out to be that one, but this 7400 was not operating correctly, and that was the root cause of the problem. So if you have a problem or an issue where you're running Leon's test ROM in a System 7 game MPU board and it flags a memory error, then it could be in the chip select logic for the particular memory. So let me press the button now and show you what happens when it's working correctly. 1, 2, 3, and that is correct. So let's put the game ROM in and see if it boots normally. And here we are back on the bench again with this Black Knight MPU and driver board. And when last you saw this board, I had used Leon's ROM to detect a failed 2114. So I replaced that 2114. I did socket and I tested both of them just to make sure. And new sockets, and this one is a new one. However, when I put the game ROM back into the board, it would not boot. It just sat there dumb. Nothing came up on the 7th segment display. And so what I eventually found was, in addition to, I believe it was a 7404 that was just blown up, it had, this chip was also failed, as was the 74 LS154. Now I put an HCT in there, which is fine. I also removed these 6821s and put them in a socket. So this board is now good to go. But the bottom line was the chip select logic would not allow the board to function. So let's boot it. And I have the client's battery pack attached to it. I've added a blanking indication, that orange LED with the label indicating what blanking means. Displays, courtesy of Mr. Victor, are working perfectly, and the lamp matrix is dancing. So let's put it into test. And let's see, the first test is going to be display test. We'll let that run. And the next test is sound test, but I don't have a soundboard connected at this point in time. I had already tested that soundboard. So the following test is lamp test, working correctly. The next test is solenoid test. I missed the first couple, so I'll let it go around twice. This is a new board that I worked with Victor on at least the layout of the board, because I wanted the layout of the board to match the layout of the transistors on the Williams driver board. So I can test the special solenoids also individually, and they're all working correctly. So the next test is switch test. And I'm going to use another one of Victor's boards to walk down the rows and columns. And Black Knight, the last switch is 46. So here we go. Well, I'm still used to using my old bench. I'm going to use my new bench now. 46. There's one. 22. I'm sorry. And there's 46. So everything is working correctly on this board. I can now advance through the audits and adjustments. And let's see if I can get to setting 18. I'm going to scroll that all the way through to 100. You don't want to pass 100. It's like trying to get a penny into your gas tank. And now this game is set to free play, which will be retained since the client has these batteries on the board. So it's rebooted now, and this board set is good to go. Thank you so much for sending it. This is a local guy, actually. So he's going to be playing some pinball at Christmas time. Thanks again.